Hi, in this section, we're gonna use mesh analysis to apply electrical circuits. So we're gonna show first mesh current, how we can write them step by step. Then we're gonna give some examples. So first, mesh current. This is another way to solve the electric circuits. Using mesh current instead of the element current, we can reduce the number of equations, so we can simultaneously solve those equations very quickly. We're gonna use actually a loop. We know that loop is a closed path with no node pass more than once. So mesh is pretty much a loop actually, and we're gonna define name for each mesh. If you look at this circuit on the left side, um, there are three loops. Let me change the color here. I'm gonna use green here. This is one here. This direction is up to us. We select from the our left to right, but if somebody select from right to left, it's fine too also. This is, we call this one as mesh current I1 here. This is mesh current I2 here, and this is mesh current I3 here. Those are capital I's if you see it. The element current, we show them as a lowercase I. So it's interesting if you look at here, for example, if you're gonna find the lowercase I1, it's shown right there, okay, that will be equal actually the mesh current capital I1 minus I3, because I3 goes opposite direction right there. Same way, if you want to find the lowercase I2 in the middle here, that will be I1 minus I2. Those are the capital I1 minus I2 is given to you. But if you look at the I4, for example, I4 actually will be capital I3 here. I can say directly here easily. Same thing, if you're gonna find the I3, the element current, will be equal capital I2 easily. You can see same direction here. Okay, let's see how we're gonna apply. This is first example here. Let me see. Okay, this is first example here. So when we look at here, we see two loops here. We call I1 here, mesh current. This is capital also I2 here. Okay, we have lowercase I1, I2, I3. Those are defined here. So we define them. Now we're gonna write the KVL for each mesh. Then we're gonna simultaneously solve those equations. So in this case, interesting, we're gonna have two equations. We have two unknowns. We can find them easily here. Okay, let's apply a mesh current. If I start from this point here, let me change my color here. If I start from this point here, so negative V1 plus I1, capital I1 times R1, okay, plus R3 times I1 minus I2 opposite direction here will be equal 0. The reason here, we know that lowercase I3 here is I1 minus I2. So this is our first equation here, first mesh equation. How about the second one? Depends on where you start. If you start from this point here, I mark it. So first one will be R2 times I2, okay, plus going here V2. Then when you come here, R3 times negative I3 lowercase, but that will be here I2 minus I1 this case here. We reverse them. So this is the second equation here. If you rearrange them under I1 and I2, then we have two equations, two unknowns, okay, in matrix form. So easily we can find I1 and I2 currents. Those are the mesh current. after finding I1 and I2, if you're looking for the element current, for example I1, I1 will be equal capital I1, you can see here easily. I2 will be capital I2 here. I3 will be equal I1 minus I2. So we can use them. Let's give the real numbers, see what's going to happen. In this example, we are looking for lowercase element current I1, I2, and I3. We're looking for this one, we're looking for this one, and we're looking for this one here. If you look at the mesh current here, we're gonna have one mesh going this way here, the other one is here. Again, this is we select as default like this. It's your choice. Before going to this one here, we know that lowercase I1 will be equal capital I1. Lowercase I2 will be equal capital mesh current 2. Lowercase I3 will be equal here I1 minus I2. Okay, but we're gonna write everything under the mesh current first. Okay, first mesh, if I start from this point here, so it's going to get negative 15, we have it here. When you come here, 5 times capital I1, we have that one here. When you come down here, 10 times I1 minus I2, that is right there, plus coming here 20, I'm sorry, plus 10 will be equal 0. So this is equation number 1. Number 2, depends on again where you start. If you start from this point right there, 6 times I2, that is right there, then 4 times I2, that is right there. When you come here, negative 10 volts, you have it. Then when you come here, 10 times I2 minus I1, this case will be equal 0. We can rearrange them I1 and I2 here. So again, two equations, two unknowns. Easily you can find I1 and I2 from there. Then after find those mesh current, capital I1 and I2, you can find each element using this written here, those equations. We put a matrix form, we find the values, then we just check them again. Okay, here another example. We're gonna use mesh analysis. In this one, mesh in Unity with mesh analysis, find the I0. I0 is this one here. Basically, I know that I can say here I0 is equal capital I3 here. These are again, let me make them green again one more time here. These are the mesh current. We select them direction 2 also. These are the one we select this direction right there. Okay, I1, I2, I3. So let's write those each mesh KVL. Starting this point here, first one, negative 16 plus 4 times I1 minus I3 plus 2 times I1 minus I2 will be equal 0. One more time. Starting this point here, negative 16, coming here 4 times I1 minus I3, coming here 2 times I1 minus I2 will be equal 0. That's the first equation. When you look at the second equation, starting from maybe this case right here, 8 times I2 minus I3, when you come here 10 times I0, you have it negative because negative first. When you come here, 2 times I2 minus I1 will be equal 0. Next equation from here, starting from maybe this point here, doesn't matter which point you start, it's gonna be 6 times I3. Okay, when you come here, 8 times I3 minus I2. when you come this one here, 4 times I3 minus I1 will be equal 0. So we have three equations. We simplify them under I1, I2, and I3. We can write them in matrix form. Then next step, you can find the I1, I2, and 3, I3. Again, what is I0 equal? Capital I3, which is equal negative 4 ampere right there. Done. We give one example here, exercise question actually, to find I0. I0 is in the middle right there. I want you to write mesh equations here, I1, I2, and I3. Then find those mesh current I1, I2, I3 first. Then find the I0. What is I0 equal? I0 will be equal right there. This is going this direction, opposite here. This is going same direction. It looks like I2 minus I1. Okay, but you're gonna find the currents, mesh current first, then you can find I0. I want you to prepare this one, bring in the class so we can discuss about it.